I thought it would be fun to start the year by analyzing and learning to play a happy song. Happy Days Are Here Again was written in 1929 with music by Milton Agar and lyrics by Jack Yellen. Here's a brief description of this song taken from the Reader's Digest Family Songbook. In 1929, as part of their score for an early talkie called Chasing Rainbows, Yellen and Agar wrote Happy Days Are Here Again, to be sung by a group of American doughboys upon receiving news of the armistice. On the night of the Wall Street crash, before the film was released, the writers took the music to George Olson, who was then leading his dance orchestra at the Hotel Pennsylvania in New York. As the vocalist sang this song, the dispirited diners, according to Yellen, stopped what they were doing and, quote, joined in sardonically, hysterically, like doomed prisoners on their way to the firing squad, end quote. The song was quickly picked up as a genuine rallying cry of the Depression years, and in 1932 it became the official theme of Franklin D. Roosevelt's victorious campaign for the presidency. This song is also associated with the repeal of Prohibition, which occurred shortly after Roosevelt's election. During those days, you could see signs saying, "Happy days are beer again," and so on. The song has been sung, has been performed by virtually every famous singer since the 1940s. It's been recorded hundreds of times and featured in various TV ads, TV shows. It's been in over 80 films. The song is often used to symbolize the 1930s or to signal the start of a new era or a return to glory. So, let's take a look at the lead sheet for this song, and I'll show you how to play it simply at first, and then we'll explore other ways to play it. Oh, by the way, I've taken the lyrics out to make it easier to follow, but I will include the lyrics in the video description. Okay, let's take a look at this lead sheet together. You'll notice right away that we are in the key of C, and also notice this time signature indication. It looks like a C with a line through it, and we call that cut time, and what it really is 2/4 time. And so we're counting 1, 2, 1, 2, and this song is usually played fairly fast. The melody might end up sounding like this. Notice how the melody just basically outlines a C major chord, so it's pretty easy to tell what the chord should be when you start out. And then it outlines the G7 chord. Happy days are here again. Now let's take a look at the chords. Basic C major chord. You'll notice this next chord is G+5, and you're thinking, well, what the heck is that? Well, you remember that augmented chords are formed by taking the top note of a triad in root position. You see, the G major chord is based on notes from the G major scale, and 2, 3, 4, 5. D is the fifth note in the scale. So we're taking this D, we're going to raise it. So the plus is like saying we're going to raise it half a step. Now we have G augmented. Now instead of playing it up here, we're going to take this C major chord and watch how this works. We lower the C by half a step, we lower the E by half a step, and voila, we have G augmented in first inversion. So it goes from C to G augmented and basically just keeps going back and forth. And then we have a quick C diminished to G7. And then basically back to C and F, which we'll play in second inversion, and C. We're going to be playing the chords in the left hand in kind of an interesting fashion because of the way this melody goes. So we're going to play the chord at the beginning of the measure on the first bar, and then 2 chords there. So we're basically going to play a chord and then 2 chords. The chord and then 2 chords. 2 chords, 1 chord, 2 chords. And then this one we have to sneak in there really quick. And then just chords on each beat. So let's play through that again. Now I played it a little bit differently there. There is no one correct way to do this. It's whatever sounds good. Now let's go into the next section of the song. We've played it through. We used the first ending. Now we've come back. We take the second ending and we go to this chord. A minor 6. It's basically A minor. This is another way to indicate a minor chord is by using the dash. I could have written A little m 6. And then we add the 6th. We're using the A minor melodic scale, and F sharp is the 6th note of that scale. And so we have A minor 6. But we're going to play it here. We've just finished playing this chord, so we'll play it this way in inverted form. And now, well, look what we are. We're going into the key of E. F sharp minor, B7, E. And then this is an unusual thing. We use all kinds of chromaticism here to go from E to C minor over E flat. Notice what happens. We have the E going to E flat, the G sharp of the E major chord going to G, and the B of the E major chord going to C. So, and that leads us to G over D. So now we're in the key of G because we have G, A minor 7, D7, and then instead of going right back to G, we go to G7, and we are now modulating back to the key of C. Hey, you know, I can think of another song that uses these exact same three keys. In fact, it's a song that we studied during the Christmas season. See if you recognize this. Yep, here we are in the key of E. And then all of a sudden, we switch to G. And now we're back in C. So there's an interesting parallel between Happy Days Are Here Again and Walking in a Winter Wonderland. I bet you didn't see that. Anyway, we've made our way back to C, and now it's basically a repeat of the first part of the song. So this is, if you like, the A section. We just finished playing the B section, now we're back to A. And then you'll see here we have a D minor 7, G7, and that's what we call the turnaround. That's in case we decide to play the whole thing again, which perhaps you would want to do if it was a big sing-along. You get to that measure and you go, everybody, let's go. Happy Days Are Here Again. Now let's see what we can do with the left-hand accompaniment. Right now I'm just playing simple block chords, which is always a good way to start. never be ashamed of just playing block chords to get started. But now maybe we can do something like this. Well, it's just basically and whatever feels comfortable under your hand. There is no one right way to play an accompaniment like this. Now, somebody who is very advanced might be doing something like that. But for most of us, it's much easier to just play something that lies naturally under the fingers. Now, I'm going to play this again and slow it way down so you can see what I'm doing. Now let's pretend we've played that twice and we get to the second ending. And then we can do something a little different here. And then back to our original accompaniment. And then to emphasize the last line, happy days are here again, we can just play block chords. Now, once again, I've been playing just single notes in the right hand. What if we add some chords in there as well? And then the second part. Now, if you want to get really adventurous, you can even play thicker chords in the right hand. Let's start playing, instead of just straight C, how about C6? I've just added some more chords in there. It's, once again, a chance for you to experiment, find things that you like. You know, we can even add some chord substitutions in here. There's an interesting chord. It's basically F diminished with an E added and G in the bass. Here we could throw in a D minor. and then back to G7. And then instead of staying on F, you can go to F minor. Days are here again. So you can experiment with some chord substitutions in there as well. Now, just for fun, I've got one more way to play this that I want to show you. And this is taken right out of the Reader's Digest Family Songbook. What I'll be doing in a lot of my live streams is playing through every song in this particular songbook, because they're all very famous songs. And what I like about the arrangements is that they're really good. They're not super simplistic, but they're also not too hard to play. So this one starts with a little introduction. And then it sounds like this. So notice we're playing, we've got chords in the right hand and just a simple bass pattern that's very easy to play. And then look at this left-hand part. Now, if you have a hard time playing octaves, as I do because I have little fingers, small hands, you can just use one note. Nice little run there. And then unfortunately I got to turn the page. This is one of the hard things about playing from an actual book. Whoops. Well, anyway, I hope you have a lot of fun with this very famous song celebrating happy days that are here again. So thank you for playing along. Thank you for watching and listening. If you have any questions or comments, please be sure to leave those in the comment section. I will be sure to respond. Also, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already. Majority of my viewers are not subscribed. So if you haven't subscribed, I encourage you to do so, as it does help the channel. And tell everybody you know who is interested in playing these great songs and learning keyboard. Tell them about At Home with Music. If you'd like to support my work, you can go to my Patreon page. I will leave a link in the description. Thank you again, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next one.